In August, NWA declared that there was going to be a new era in their promotion, that this fall, new champions would be crowned and new stars would be made. The women of NWA have been busting their butts to show that they could become a strong roster, and now the stage is there. So, on this mini episode of the Ladies Wrestling Grio podcast, let's dive into this new landscape and what it looks like now. So we're going to start off at the very top with the world's women's champion, Kenzie Page. Only 20 years old, Kenzie has declared that she is not just a part of the new era in NWA, but she is the head of it. She has been very opportunistic and hungry, and that passion has really showed and has really won over the fans over this past few months. She makes up 1/3 of the Pretty Empowered faction, which has been a very strong faction over this past year. Leading up to her match with Camille at NWA 75 Night 2, there was a lot of tension between the two women because Kenzie held the world's TV title and felt that her championship mattered more, that she was actually the face of NWA. Kenzie shocked the world and got a win over the seemingly unbeatable Camille, who was at the time calling herself the one-time champ, that she would forever hold that championship. Now, this win over Camille could have been due to Camille facing off against Natalia Bokova in a street fight the night before, or possibly Camille underestimating Kenzie's drive to win. Regardless, Kenzie is the new NWA World Women's Champion, and this will change the landscape of the women's division. She also can boast that she is a Triple Crown winner. In a very short time in NWA, Kenzie is achieving so much. On the 125th episode of NWA Power, the first episode since NWA 75, Kenzie was able to defend her title against Samantha Starr, where at the last minute, on the command of NWA owner Billy Corrigan, she had to defend the title. So off the bat, right into her new age as the World Women's Champion, she had to prove that she was worthy to be the champ. And the very young, cocky confidence that Kenzie has, I think that she'll be willing to take that challenge every single time. I will admit that when Kenzie first won the title, I felt like I wasn't really sure of if she was the person that I would have chosen to have that world's title. And I will get to who my first pick was as I go down the line in this episode. But when I really looked at that match that Kenzie had with Camille and how well she has held the World TV title, I think that this was a natural evolution for Kenzie to be able to hold the World's Women's title. So far, I have been very happy with what I've been seeing with the decisions that NWA has been making about what spot which woman would have, what title which woman would have going forward into this next era. And I really think that Kenzie will make a very strong women's world title champion, as she has with the world TV title. And we have to get to the next champion in this women's roster, and that is Max Van Paler, who now holds the world's TV title. And always an opposing figure in any promotion that she's in. But for some reason in NWA, Max seems to be a bit more terrorizing, especially with Max being managed by someone as sinister as James Mitchell, a manager that I have loved since I started watching TNA, which is now Impact. These two can really make a viewer lose sleep at night. I just think it is a perfect pairing. And at NWA 75, Kenzie Page came in proudly into that match, holding up that shiny World's Women's TV Championship, and felt quite confident that she'll be leaving the arena with it. But Max carried a dead, vacant look going into this match, and she commenced to decimate Kenzie. With everything that Kenzie has done with that title, you can only have an immovable force like Max to dethrone her. Now, Max holds the coveted TV title, and I dare ask, who can take that title from her? We'll just have to wait and see. Next, we come to another very important coveted title. That is the women's tag team titles, and that is currently held by Pretty Empowered. We have Ella Envy and Kyla Page. They defeated M95 at the NWA 75 pay-per-view. And Kylie and Envy are the current tag team champs that are truly a big part of the NWA women's roster and why it is a hot topic in the industry right now, I believe, because of what they bring to the table. They are packed with all of the Barbie-like attitude and look that you would want from a tag team like theirs, but these women can back it up in the ring and I feel have some of the best promos in the company that we've seen over the past few months. So it's certainly something that makes them stand out because not only are they strong competitors in the ring, but they really bring it on the mic. And I feel that with this era, you really need to set yourself apart by being able to talk fans into an event and to really make it clear why someone will want to view the programming, especially because of how many options are out there with wrestling. I think that Pretty Empowered really helps to make NWA as a whole stand out. So they are very strong tag teams, and I think that was setting in this new era of NWA, having Pretty Empowered as the women's tag team champs is, in my opinion, the best idea. And now we go into someone that does not have a title right now, but to me is one of the strongest reasons why people should really get behind the women's division in NWA. And just like I said earlier, Kenzie Page was not my first choice for who should dethrone Camille. In my opinion, I feel that Natalia Markova should have been the person to dethrone Camille. I feel that no one in NWA has made a mark for themselves over the past year as Markova has. To me, even her name to me really brands what this new phase in NWA is about. And facing off against Camille a few times, but sadly falling short of winning the World Women's title was something that was a bit sad to me, especially because I had hope that on night one of NWA 75 that she would have come out on top. But I think that this is just another layer to her story of being able to actually hold that World Women's title soon. And in the street fight that she had with Camille, it really proved that Natalia is that tough, agile, feisty, strong-armed, and brutal woman that is championship material, especially when how over Natalia is with the fans. Whenever I'm watching NWA Power or a pay-per-view, usually Natalia is the one that is talked about the most with her appearances with NWA, her matches. So she really has branded herself as a top draw for the promotion. With this new era, I'm really hoping that Natalia could get some gold, but that might be in her future as over the past 2 weeks, we've had Natalia kind of enter a new realm or new phase in her career with now trying to get tag team gold and actually achieving that with winning the #1 contendership for the women's tag team with her partner Taylor Made, which I thought was really great because they are a really strong, impressive tag team. And I think that with having someone like Natalia, who's a very hard-hitting powerhouse in the ring, for her to find a teammate that really holds up to that too, that is certainly impressive. And they might possibly win that tag team title, and that might even cause Natalia to want to win her own championship not too long after that, because you can really see the passion for Natalya to be the head of the women's division. And I feel that another notch in Natalya's belt is that she is, to me, one of the best strikers on the women's division, and no one should underestimate her in a match. Just as much as Natalya can deal it out, I think one of her strengths too is seeing how much she can take in a match and how she can really hang with someone that is just as tough as she is. There's a resiliency Markova that I think is really unmatched. And I really have to say that she currently has the best cutter in the business. And I love her tribute to Jazz, who is also a producer for NWA. With her jazz stinger that she does in the ring, it's absolutely brilliant. And it really just pays homage to Jazz. So absolutely love it. And I'm really excited to see what Markova can do in her solo career, but also with this new tag team with Taylor and Natalya could do, because I think it's very promising. Now, talking about promising, I want to kind of go into this next section talking about potential stars on the NWA women's roster. And the first one I have to mention is Samantha Starr, who is the daughter of legendary ballet Baby Doll and has a strong showing. Currently, I think it was possibly the first week of NWA showing off this new era that she had her match with Kenzie Page. It was a very strong showing, and to me, the thing that Samantha would bring to the table is that she has a bigger, stronger build, and she can really be a powerhouse on the roster while also continuing to bring that old school flavor to a match that I think would be a strong suit of hers. So she's definitely someone to watch and someone that I think could be really impressive. And one thing that I'm really getting excited about, and I've been seeing this like over the past year or two, is a lot of daughters that are either second or third generation wrestlers come into the business and really impress. They understand everything that goes into really proving why you would be getting into the business. And I think they've been holding up their end of the bargain. And I really think that Samantha Starr would be one of those second generation wrestlers that really makes an impact in the business, but most importantly, makes their own name in the business. The next woman that I feel has a lot of potential going into this next era is Ruthie J. She is a self-proclaimed 5-star athlete, a recent signing of the promotion right before the new era, and she got a chance to compete for a #1 contender spot to face Kenzie Page for the first NWA Power episode that we saw right after NWA 75. And she went against Natalya Markova and Lisa Kate, and she came out the winner, which is not an easy feat with fighting such competitors like Markova and Kate. So this was, to me, a very strong showing, and I loved how Ruthie got the win by pulling off a very impressive 5-star frog splash and helping her to get the victory. I think that that was important too, because it's really solidifying that Ruthie is bringing in a very high-flying, explosive style that I feel could be her calling card in NWA and really set her apart from a lot of the women that have a stronger slobber knocker type of style. Is really going to set her apart and get fans invested in a style that many times you're not seeing on the NWA roster. So I think that that was very good for NWA to bring that diversity in wrestling styles for the women's roster as well. So we'll see what happens for Ruthie J as she takes on Kenzie Page in a few weeks at the latest NWA pay-per-view. But I think that she's going to be one that has a very unique spot on the women's roster. The next woman that I want to talk about has been in NWA and made her debut a year ago. I think that this new era in NWA will be one that's very bright for her. And that woman that I'm talking about is MJ Jenkins. I think that with her time in other companies, we already know that she is a star and she's just getting her feet wet in NWA, making a few appearances over the past year. But I think that this year she might be able to get more of a push and possibly have a long-standing feud that really starts to show what she can bring to the table. She was a part of the Burke Gauntlet match at NWA 75, and she got a great reaction from the crowd. And this could possibly lead us to see more of the vivacious woman that MJ Jenkins is, and she truly has the total package to become a weekly draw on NWA Power, especially with everything that she brings with to me the pomp and circumstance that is very much reminiscent of what we saw in old NWA promotions where you would have a baby face that really brought out a type of personality that people wanted with the good guys, where they were very flashy, very extravagant. And I think that MJ could truly bring that, and very good on the mic, because MJ certainly has that talent too. So I'm really hoping that we will see more of MJ Jenkins going forward. Another woman that is not new to the NWA roster, but seems to be transitioning to possibly having a solo career, is Misa Kate. And she was one half, or still is, because they're still competing as tag teams, one half of N95. And I think at first glance, you think that Misa Kate can't be as tough as she is, but she's not flash. She brings a hard-nosed brawling style that really sets her apart. And definitely she is one to watch as someone that can stand her ground and make a name for herself on the roster on this possible solo journey. And that journey is very similar to the next woman I'm going to bring up. That was her tag team partner, Maddie. And I think that Maddie also wants to prove, like she has in other promotions, that she can have a successful solo career in NWA that can be just as fruitful as her tag team journey has been in the promotion. And Maddie recently had a very important match with Camille on NWA Power that proved that she can make a bold statement to be able to hold her own with former Women's World Champion Camille. It was a very impressive showing. And yes, Maddie did not win the match that she had with Camille, but I think she even got Camille thinking that she was a much more formidable opponent than maybe Camille thought coming into that match. And I think that that match allows her to showcase that she could be a possible strong contender for the Women's Championship, either the TV title or the World's Women's Championship, for an individual title shot. So I think that Maddie is certainly one to watch as she's transitioning to a different journey in her career. I think this last one I'm going to bring up had such a strong showing last year, but I think with this new era, she's probably going to be pushed up a bit more. And that woman is La Rosa Negra. And I think that La Rosa is someone that I'm always rooting for because she is so freaking talented. And she's been making a lot of moves around the world in fantastic promotions like Mission Pro, and had two major showings this year against Talia Valkyrie and Natalia Markova. And I have to say a third one against the Women's World Champion Camille, or former Women's World Champion Camille, this past year in NWA. So with this new era, I'm certainly expecting for La Rosa to be a huge player in this ever-growing women's roster. She just has it. She has a very strong style, but she can also mix that with a high-flying style. She can pretty much do anything in the ring, but then she has such a personality on the mic that's really something that the fans really get behind. So she has a lot to offer, and certainly NWA thought that with how they pushed her over these past few months and over the past few years. She came back from a hard injury and really showed that she is someone to not ever count out that I am pretty sure that she's going to have another successful run in this new era in NWA. So that's really my list of women so far that we have seen over the past year, and certainly over the past few weeks, that I think are going to make a huge impact and really set the tone for this new era in NWA for the women's roster. And we just had a really exciting bit of news from NWA owner Billy Corrigan that NWA has not one but two TV deals that are in the works. But of course, they can't announce exactly who yet because you have to keep the suspense going. But we don't know how that could possibly change the landscape, the amount of time that possibly two NWA shows could have. I personally loved, I think it started back in 2022 when NWA had NWA USA, where they had amount of time. It was about a 30-minute show on a Saturday morning that helped to show the newer NWA prospects and give them some good TV time. And I love what NWA Power does. It could possibly have where NWA Power still has that 1 hour time slot, because to me, and I've enjoyed this, I feel that it gives each match, which is usually 3 matches, possibly 4 with NWA Power that we've seen, but these matches are very important to these wrestler storylines, and you're not just bunching in a whole bunch of matches just for the sake of possibly having like a 2-hour or 3-hour show. And I feel that that is the strength of NWA. So I hope even with these TV deals, they might be able to have that. And I think cornering the market right now with having a Saturday morning show would be something really great for NWA. So we'll see what comes out of that. But one thing is for sure, even with these TV deals, I think that we're still going to see some amazing women's talent continue to impress and really make up the fabric of why we like watching NWA. So stay tuned for that. But that is the end of this mini episode. I really hope you enjoyed it. And while NWA is still on YouTube for free, if you have not seen this new era over the past 4 weeks, please check it out now. You will not be disappointed, and it can help to keep you abreast to what's going on with NWA, especially with this announcement of these TV deals. You probably already want to know what's going on and what is happening in the landscape of the company before they get to the point of announcing those TV deals. Thank you so much for watching, and I'm very excited for the new series that I will have starting next week, where I'm just going to cover a particular topic or particular promotion in women's wrestling. So I'm really looking forward to doing that. But just like I said, check out these amazing women in NWA, because to me, they have one of the most impressive women's rosters on the scene right now. And I definitely think that is heavily due to having producers like Medusa and Jazz really injecting their expertise on what would make strong women's matches, what would make for them having really great mic skills, and all the components that they need to become really strong, viable stars on the roster. So really check that out and give that support to NWA, because over this past year, they've really been trying to make sure that they're setting off a new era for their company, and I think that they have succeeded. So make sure you check that out, and make sure you come back next week. Bye.